Welcome to our weekly meditation at the end of April already, but still in the season of Easter. I'm returning to some thoughts around connecting with nature, slowing down, stepping outside, and there's an image on the screen of the night sky. And mention of St. Francis again, who was not only deeply concerned for God's creation, but very much also for the poor and the outcast. And along with other thinkers over the ages, he invites us to see nature as a magnificent book in which the divine speaks to us and grants us a glimpse of infinite beauty and goodness. As in the Book of Wisdom, through the greatness and the beauty of creatures, one comes to know by analogy their maker. And so we go through our customary routine, our practice of settling ourselves, just adjusting so that we feel comfortable, and we bring our attention to where we're sitting now. Hands resting in the lap or possibly on the thighs. Eyes closed or gaze gently lowered and looking at the screen. I thought this time we'd just try something a little bit different, something my Pilates teacher began our session with this morning, which is just to lightly tap up and down one arm with the other hand, just using the fingertips to just gently tap up the arm to the shoulder, and then gently tapping, coming down. I'm going to try this in the mornings, I think, but I thought we'd just try it out tonight and see how it feels. So go up and down one arm 4 or 5 times perhaps, and try and go round and the front of the arm or the top of the arm and the underside. And then change hands and gently tapping the other arm. Perhaps this is also, as well as being slightly stimulating of the skin and the blood flow, another way of bringing our attention, our focus to where we are right now. As you focus on that movement of the hand and the sensation of the arm. Just as that has had a focus on the hand and the arm, let's bring our focus also to other parts of the body. Starting with the feet. You can of course tap any part of the body if you want to, no one can see, but have a focus as we scan the body. Simply being aware of and thinking about each part in turn. Maybe even try and gently tense or flex and then relax. First the feet. Then the ankles and the calves. The knees. There's big muscles in the thighs, Then maybe as we scan through the body, you might become aware of a bit of stiffness or a bit of tension. Just notice that and still try and tense and relax it. And the whole area around the pelvis and the bottom, the glutes, tense and relax. The stomach, the waist, going up the torso, the chest. Notice it, tense and relax. We'll leave out the arms, we'll just do the shoulders perhaps. And across the shoulders, very often an area that gets stiff if you've been looking at a computer especially. And the neck, chin. We'll treat the face as a whole. And finally the scalp at the top of the head. Now let's take 2 deep cleansing breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And bring your attention to that movement of the air, the sounds that accompany the breath, and the physical sense of the lungs filling, the stomach rising, and then falling. I wonder if there's any other images that go with that awareness, that attention to the breath. I always see or visualize a wave gently, the sea gently coming up the beach and then receding down, and the slight noise of the pebbles rolling back down the beach. Or maybe you imagine and can sense breathing in energy from the universe within that breath. Because there is energy, of course. The oxygen in the air combines carbohydrates in the body to release energy. Almost like recharging an electric car, perhaps. So the breath is a source of energy, of positive energy. And then as we breathe out, focus on the out breath, the exhalation, consciously releasing anything that you'd like to let go of. A stress, a worry, an anxiety. That's the analogy of the wave and the water gently washing away anything that isn't helpful for us. As we continue to breathe deeply, just some thoughts from one or two modern mystics. William Jones talks about taking risks which invite greater reliance on God. Quite timely, our Methodist Synod on Saturday, one of the sessions was about encouraging risk of engaging with our local communities. But Jones talks about taking risks in wild places, with the outdoors, with nature, noting that we've done a lot to try and reduce risks over the years and over the generations, which has probably enhanced or increased our lifespan. But it's perhaps detracted something as well. Neurologically, adventure encourages deeper learning. And spiritually, risk strips us bare and makes us vulnerable, reduces the ego, thus making more room for God. He also suggests that the God of wild places offers peace. In a busy modern world, finding peace is becoming more and more difficult. And again, we might have to revert a little bit, using older methods, hiking boots, walking stick, map and compass rather than sat-nav. Remembering that the peace we long for is always within. A spark of the divine resides within us. And sparking that to a flame is sometimes easier to do outdoors than indoors. Another modern contemplative, Brian Draper, known for his wild walks and his love of the outdoors, describes how his experience of long COVID left him feeling confined, shut in, with reduced energy. But he says, it has deepened my experience of how contemplative practice actually works. Not in some kind of magic formula, but in terms of giving you permission to sit with your feelings and learn to welcome them. I would liken it to befriending the situation. So let's try that for a few minutes, just noting as we sit in the silence, just noting our internal weather. Whether it's been a long day or a hard day, whether it's been a good day, a joyful day, just sit with those feelings, don't judge them, befriend the situation. And although he couldn't walk as much and still gets tired, Draper still finds joy and wonder in connecting with nature. When you pause to watch the sunrise, when you step out at midday, you remember to stand in the light and love of God. He says, after dark, one thing I did and still do was to stand and look north to the pole star. The sense that within our darkness There is one tiny pinprick of light can still orientate you. For me, he says, that was a tiny little thing. Nothing can separate me from the love of God. It mattered to me that I put myself into that position. That daily orientation of sunrise, noon, twilight, darkness can be just one part of the process of awakening to whatever circumstances we find ourselves in. A simple practice, a simple routine, but he says these are so often the key. Other things like regular gratitude, counting blessings, even just a short walk around the block, practicing kindness, practicing stillness meditation. And so as we move to our stillness meditation, go with the words of Brian Draper, allow the mystery of God's spiritual presence to do whatever it's doing with you, which I believe is a very real thing, even though it's not always immediately tangible. And we'll use music from Salt of the Sound, Distant Light, to take us to our silence. So whether it's to just focus on the breath, or to allow the mystery of God's spiritual presence to do whatever it's doing with you, or to sit with your feelings, or to walk down the steps to your inner room, enjoy the stillness and the silence. So we gently come out of our silence and our stillness. Perhaps just gently opening our eyes. Perhaps taking another deep breath. Reconnecting with where we're sitting, and some closing words from the evening liturgy of the Northumbria community relating to wildness. As the tamed horse still hears the call of her wild brothers, and as the farmed goose flaps hopeful wings as his sisters fly overhead, so too, perhaps, the wild ones amongst us are our only hope in calling us back to our true nature. Wild ones who have not been turned to stone by the far-reaching grasp of the empire and its program of consumer sedation, the killing of imagination. Where, my friends, have the wild ones gone? Amen.